teenager became a millionaire overnight, but it was the worst thing that could have happened to her. This is Callie Rogers, a 16-year-old girl living in foster care and worked as a cashier when her life took an unexpected turn. She won a $2.5 million lottery, and soon as she got the money, she began to spend and spend and spend. She first bought herself a house, an expensive sports car, and she got not one, but 2 boob jobs. But then, her spending got out of control. She spent over $400,000 just on clothes and makeup. And rumors say that she even spent over $300,000 on drugs. And unfortunately, along with her fortune came a bunch of fake friends with no good intentions. They pretended to be her friends and took advantage of her money.
At the time, you don't realize because you just want everybody to like you, so...
And worse, some didn't even ask her anymore. Instead, they just took her credit card to buy expensive things for themselves. And believe it or not, this was just the beginning of her problems. But what can be worse than a bunch of fake friends? Well, gold-digging boyfriends. And trust me, she spent hundreds of thousands on them. And eventually, they didn't only rip her off, but eventually left her alone with 2 children to take care of and being completely broke.
It just become too much to cope with. Not knowing who liked me for me anymore.
And you might think that losing all her money was the worst that could have happened to her, but you could be wrong, because it turns out that it was actually the best thing that could have happened to her. Because now she can trust that her friends aren't there for her money. But if you think her story is crazy, wait until you see this guy's story, because he didn't just lose $2.5 million, but the insane amount of $14 million. This is Michael Carrel, and he was no ordinary guy. By the age of 19, he won the lottery. He hit the jackpot and won $14 million. But unfortunately for him, he didn't make the best choices and ended up losing all his money. First, he bought a mansion, a lot of expensive cars. He gave nearly 1/3 of what he earned to his family, and that was just the beginning because he kept on spending. His girlfriend at the time was pregnant, and they got married. But their marriage wasn't meant to last either, because with all that money, he went out of control. And he didn't even try to hide that he was throwing $700,000 parties with drugs, alcohol, and prostitutes. Because of this crazy behavior, they got divorced, and he later gave her $2 million in a settlement. But when his wife left, things got worse. Each day, he got out of bed and consumed alcohol and drugs straight away. And because of all the crazy events he held in his mansion, eventually went from this to this. He even claims he slept with 4,000 women and that his record was 8 women at the same time. One day, while being drunk, he damaged a lot of cars, and because of this, he had 40 offense records. He was sent back to jail, and when he got out, he was broke. But once again, this was the best that could have happened to him, because after losing everything, he quit alcohol, overcame his drug addiction, and hasn't been involved in criminal activities again. Now he has a job as a lodger for $14 an hour, and he say he prefers this life because now he remarried his ex-wife.